Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show Live. Viewers, comments and questions. Dan here.
Mick here, hello.
What a lovely day it's been. Crisp, bright, still autumnal though. Whether the winter hasn't hit yet.
No. I was walking the dog yesterday in a t-shirt.
That's because you're tough and a man's man.
You can't say things like that anymore, Dan. No such thing as man's man anymore.
All right.
It's a person's person.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I am a person's person.
You are.
Didn't say which person.
Ah, lovely. Oh, Rand's there. Hello from Israel. Don't forget the podcast.
Ah, you beauty. And BV, you reminded me that too, and I still haven't done it. So thank you to Ran and thank you to BV.
Very good. Very good. Scott Gaylor says winter never comes in Florida. I lived in Singapore for 18 months, and it's never cold there. Like never even cool there. I think the difference between like summer and winter in Singapore is like 3 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is astonishing how much we talk about the weather.
Well, it's a
British people, especially.
You have weather here. You really do. Like I growing up in Brisbane, I had one jumper. And like growing up, the only reason I had it is because it had BMX Bandits on the front of it. I thought it looked really cool. I had no need for it.
Just used to use it for your goalposts.
Yeah.
When playing soccer.
Yeah, I'd never played soccer.
Right.
I played soccer when I was like once for the under 10s because my brother played soccer. My dad thought it'd be a really good idea to bring me along to play in the little kids team.
Yeah.
They put me on the field and I scored a goal for the wrong team.
Ah, nice.
And they took me off and Dad said, I don't have to worry about playing soccer anymore.
It's not for you, mate.
No.
Not for you, Dano. Right. I'm going to turn the super chat off because we have already too many. Thank you for those of you who super chat. Indeed.
Hoff Bert says, hello from Nuremberg, Germany. The whole family got COVID on the weekend, but we're all up well. Q&A time. Ah, mate, yes. Sorry to hear you got that, but glad to hear you're feeling better. Todd Roy says, hello from a cold Nova Scotia. Mick and Dan. Where's Nova Scotia?
Up there somewhere.
Up there somewhere.
I'm going to check where it is because I think I know where it is, and let's see if I'm right about where it is. Yes, it's in Canada.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to say it was in Canada if it was in the USA or vice versa and upset a load of people. People are very psychologically attached to where they come from, which I never understood, but
it's a strange
people are.
Brian McCaskill says, greetings from Vancouver, which I'm assuming is in not too far from there.
Ooh, you see, no, Canada's massive.
Right.
And I don't know about that, you see.
Okay. Oh, Tyler Appleby. Good morning from Nebraska. Nebraska's somewhere I'd love to go.
Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah. There's a whole lot of nothing in Nebraska, isn't there?
Yeah.
Among other things.
That's the dream, isn't it? Be amongst a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I guess so.
At least for a while. It'd be lovely.
I guess so. So yes, welcome. Welcome to our podcast listeners. On patreon.com. Thank you for being a TPS patron, and welcome to everyone joining in on this lovely Monday evening, morning, afternoon, or indeed if you're watching afterwards or listening in the car or on a train or on a plane going somewhere.
Podcasts are amazing for driving.
Yeah.
I'm listening to a couple at the moment. It's this, yeah.
The Truth About Vintage Amps podcast is the only thing you should listen to, Dan.
Okay.
Yeah, with Skip Simmons and Jason Valind or Valinde. Or Valind from Fretboard Journal. The resonance of this stool is driving me nuts.
I love that. Is that better?
It's marginal. I can still hear the legs, but
all right.
I shall move it in a minute.
Just for anyone who missed that, Mick can hear the resonant frequencies of the legs of the stool. It's great.
It's very specific. You can hear it too. Listen.
Of course you can. But I love, it's like, it's a thing.
Yes.
But nothing makes any difference except pickups.
Good.
Brian Mills says, sorry for being late. The opening ad was a 7-minute video from Monty's.
Really? What? You
Wicked.
couldn't skip it, I guess. Good on you, Monty. I hope and don't hope that costs you loads of money. Okay, welcome to VCQ. Let's get into the questions. We will prioritise the super chats as always. We're joined by the wonderful TPS community across the world, and it is an absolute joy to spend a couple of hours with you people. So thank you very much.
It is. We spent the day with some of our TPS community on Friday at one of our experience days, and honestly, it is always just an awesome day. Yeah,
It is.
So, yeah,
It's uplifting in so many ways.
it is.
Tonally, spiritually,
Just to be around
psychologically.
people again. It's just so great.
Well, and like-minded, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
There's a lot in like-mindedness that is good. Okay, maybe I can turn up a bit now then.
So you have to watch for with compression level on, because there's a change on YouTube.
Yeah,
You see it actually
to be
change.
fair, BV reminded me tonight as well.
Oh, well done, BV.
We will say a massive thank you to BV Ninja, who is in the chat, moderating, organising, managing, and all
being
other
generally
kinds
a
of things.
superstar.
Thank you.
Is everyone getting ready for Christmas? I'm getting ready. We put our tree up last night. We have our tradition.
Yep.
I've talked about it before. We start putting up the tree. We put on Elf, and I wet myself laughing once a year. Watch that film, and it's just the best thing ever. Yeah, it's wonderful.
I remember being at the Jazz Cafe once while a friend of mine was setting up Robin Ford's amps, and we're all there and he's going at it. It's lovely, nice to be around Robin when he's sound checking.
Sorry, that was a proper name part.
Yeah, and my friend said, so are you looking forward to, did you have a nice Christmas, Robin? And he's like, I'm a Buddhist.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess Buddhists don't celebrate Christmas. I just felt like we needed to equal it up a bit there, Dan, because not everyone celebrates Christmas, you know.
Okay, fair enough. Robin, especially,
Well, and others.
and others.
Yeah.
Right, very good.
I mean, you know, I celebrate it reluctantly, truth be told. Not for spiritual reasons. Let's move along from this. Ran's there. Hello, Ran. D and M and B. There we are, BV. I'm back from frosty Sweden. I just wanted to thank you for my wonderful burgundy That Pedal Show beanie that kept my head and ears nice and warm.
Oh, lovely. That's
Thanks, Ran.
lovely.
Actually, on that front, we do have some TPS store housekeeping.
Oh, well played.
Yeah, thanks to everyone who joined in our first ever None More Black Friday deal. Because, you know, if Amazon wants to create a public holiday and loads of spending, then that's
Who are we to?
that's a bandwagon we'd surely love to jump on. Sorry, on which we would love to jump. We've been blown away. We had loads and loads of orders, and that's really great because that helps us out massively doing this show. Hayden and Catherine have been feverishly boxing things up and sending them out today.
Yeah, it's lovely. So thank you, everyone.
However, there was some confusion in the offer. It was buy two, get one free on teas, and a lot of people only put 2 teas in their basket. So if you did that, we've just chosen you another tea.
Great.
Yeah. If you're not happy about that,
Blame Santa.
yeah. So there we are. It finishes at 12 midnight GMT tonight, which is another 7 hours. So if you haven't partaken yet of the TPS None More Black Friday offer, you still have time.
Yes.
And patrons, as a reminder, we'll be doing 12 separate giveaways during December for TPS patrons as the 12 Days of Tonemas.
Very nice.
We've got some quite nice things to give away, one of which is the the Origin green pedal that we had on last week. What's it
Oh,
called?
the Halcyon.
Halcyon, yeah.
Wow.
Unless you don't want to give it away.
Well, I can't say that now. Or don't give it away
Well,
because
you
I'm
can.
running out of pedals. No, by all means, give it to someone who will love it.
Yeah, we said to Origin, do you mind if we give it away? Because it's a really nice thing. And we'll put some nice things in. So that'll go out to our patrons. Keep your eye on your email inbox if you're a TPS patron. And there'll be 12 things given away during the
12 Days of Tamers
period.
Yeah,
yes.
lovely. How lovely.
Yes. Matt McGrath. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
He says, leg ends. Mick, what are your thoughts on the Analog Man OD9 with Bad Bob boost? Was yours modded or stock? I've been eyeing it with the silver mod. Thank you. Dan, hope you're feeling better. Okay.
Thank you. Feeling fantastic.
Quick story.
Looking good, Bob. Feeling good, Lewis. Oh, no.
Dan and I went to visit Analog Man in Bethel, Connecticut a few years ago. And in the basement of Mike's house is, what does he call it?
Madison Square Basement.
Madison Square Basement. And I don't know if it's every week or some weeks, Mike's buddies come around.
Most weeks, yeah.
And they hammer out rock and roll in Mike's basement. It's like a dream.
It's crazy.
Anyway, the night Dan and I stayed at Mike's, it was jam night, so we too jammed. And on the floor, I think it was this pedal.
Shut my eyes, shut my eyes.
It's all right, I'm still in front of you.
That's much better for many reasons. Look at that thing.
And I had it plugged into a 50-watt silver panel Bassman, and it's one of the nicest guitar sounds I've ever had. So
good.
I said to Mike, I really like that. Can I buy it? And bless him, he gave it to me. And I said, can I have that one though? I really want that one. He sort of,
you gotta have the one you connect with.
and he knew what I meant, but I think
Yeah,
he
yeah.
also looked at me as if to say, yeah, they all sound that good. Anyway, so it is an OD9, Maxon OD9, and that extra foot switch on the top is a Bad Bob booster that they can add in there because there's room to put it in. What Mike said to me is that the silver mod on some of their pedals is really worthwhile. Silver mod improves some of the resistors, I think
Lowers the noise floor.
He said actually on the OD9s it's not as big a deal because it's so well made in the first place.
Is that an 89? Oh, okay, sorry, the Max on 89. Okay, which is the tube screamer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Not quite so important. So to answer your question, it does not have the silver mod. It's just the Analog Man standard mod with the Bad Bob boost, and I absolutely love it. I've got two favourite tube screamers. One is a Keeley modded 808, which is on my board, and this is the other one. And even with the Bad Bob in it, the tube screamer alone still sounds spectacularly good with the mod.
It's mega.
So I would recommend that wholeheartedly, without reservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bad Bob boost. So one of the guys that was here for our experience day, he was looking for an always-on boost. And he was in the first group with me doing pedal boards, and I said, just take this over and try it out. The Bad Bob boost is really lovely. It adds a width and a sparkle. It's
Is it Jason?
Jason. It was Jason.
Yeah.
But the way that boost cleans up as well, amazing.
Yeah, very nice. So good luck with that, Matt. Colin Diamond. Hi, Colin.
Hey, Colin.
We've got your super chat. BV has sent me your super chat. Colin Diamond. Fender 63 reverb. Have you tried it, the reissue 63 standalone reverb unit? Is it fun? Is it at all practical for live gigs? So that's the tube driven.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a magic sounding thing.
Yeah.
But it's such a lot of money.
Right.
I think they're over 700 quid now.
Okay.
Let's have a look. Even if you can find one. Yes, it's practical for gigging. Absolutely it is. As long as you give it the same... unless you mean the Boss FRV 163 reverb pedal, which is not the same thing at all.
No.
That's a digital modelling version of it. We think you mean the actual standalone spring reverb.
Sorry, Zoot. Yes, I missed the name drop horn for Analog Man. I mean, there we go. He's an old mate. And, but yes, he's the best.
Yeah, I don't even know if they still make it by the looks of things. God, 3.5 grand for an original one.
Wow.
So yeah, they are expensive if you can find one. I'm finding the reissues for like £1,000 used. I would strongly recommend
This thing's incredible.
this.
Yeah, this is so good.
I don't know if you can read that small writing on there. Can I have some incidental music now?
You can. For a Sophie Bear reverb. Right.
That was great.
Like that?
Yeah. I just think it's a bit more game show when you've got the music.
Yeah. Love
So-
that. I love that idea of doing a game show. How do we do that?
Yeah. So that's a fifth of the price of a 63 tube reverb. You know, maybe not ultimately as amazing,
But it's
but
pretty
it's
amazing.
exceptionally good. So I'd strongly recommend that. Yes.
Beautiful.
Hope that helps, Colin. Rodrigo Gaspari. Hey, Rodrigo.
Hey, Rodrigo.
He says, leg ends, no question today, just a show of love. Thank you for everything.
Ah, thank you, buddy. We appreciate that. That's
Love
very
right
kind.
back to you, buddy. Thank
Very
you.
kind.
Bruce Key. Hello, Bruce. Greetings from Memphis, Tennessee. Imagine being able to say that.
Where I'm guessing things are warm.
It's very humid in the summer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about the winter. It was raining a lot when I was there. Anyway, no question. Just want to say thank you for all you do. Also, just ordered a G3
Oh, mate, thank you.
and can't wait to get it here. Dan
Bless
and Nick,
you.
y'all are amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. I
Thanks,
really
Bruce.
appreciate that.
Oh, greetings to Memphis. I had such a fabulous time there. I went there to visit the Gibson Memphis factory when it was there.
Right.
And that's what seeing them being made and all of that and the history of everything just convinced me that that was the guitar to get, the old 335.
With Kalamazoo.
Not there.
Not there. That's somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah, not there at all. Yeah, no, they moved from Kalamazoo to Nashville, which is also
Not there.
not Memphis.
Okay.
They've got at that time they had Nashville, which is like headquarters and custom shop, and Gibson USA.
Right.
Bozeman, Montana, which is miles away, which
Oh, Montana.
does the acoustics, and Memphis, Tennessee, which did all the ES and hollow guitars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
not all of them.
So they're not all made in one place then? They're all made in different locations?
Well, at that time, confusingly enough, there were also custom shop versions of the ES guitars. But for
Okay.
my money, that period of Memphis-made ESs, which is where mine comes from,
Yep.
they were the guitars.
Okay.
I think they'd moved all the tooling and everything to Nashville now. So anyway, blah blah blah. Too much information.
Kyo Kai says, I made it. Love you guys and finally made one. Thank you, bud. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Peeking a bit, mate.
Subro Ponte says, I have a Surfy Bear Classic V2 and I compared it with my mate's actual one and it wasn't disappointed at all. Yeah, they're so good. I had to compare with my what's the one, the
Carl
headroom,
Martin.
the Carl Martin headroom, and I love the headroom. It's definitely a small box sounding reverb, but that isn't a small boxy thing sounding at all.
No,
It
the
sounds
Surfy
flippin'
Bear
massive.
does the surf thing.
Yeah,
then
yeah. It's
the drip.
drippy,
Yeah,
drip.
it does that. Or not, if you don't want it to do that, it can do a nice subtle one as well. But
Yeah, lovely.
we are going to make that show, by the way. Just haven't quite got around to doing it because it would make sense to get a 63 standalone Fender as well to make it complete. Because
Yeah.
if we do it without that, everyone's going to be like, why haven't you got that in there? Francis Hogan. Don't have a question from you, Francis. Let's see if BV has sent information. Nothing yet. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Shay P. Oh, Shay, we saw you on Friday. He says, thank you everyone at TPS for a memorable day on Friday. It was such fun and great to meet everyone and hear everyone's stories. The only question is, shall I go for a 2-rock or a vintage tweed? Bless him, Dan, who came in to see us, brought a 53 Pro.
Oh yeah, this thing is unbelievable. I didn't get to play it until right at the end, and just plugged it in. It's like, it's just the most astonishing sounding thing. Eagle Ray Rob, greetings and salutations. G'day, mate.
Hello, Rob. Check this out. Look, Dan, I've got the cover on and everything. Like you said, please keep the cover on it. Cover is on it. Just, you know.
Look at that.
What we'll do is we'll annoy the people because they can't see it at this point. So they'll be like, get up on the camera.
Look at this. Look at this. 15 inches of rock. 15 inches.
That's what he said. This amp has got a filthy mind, Daniel. Did you hear what it just said?
It does.
Did you hear what it just said?
I did.
15-inch speaker, Fender Pro, 1953. I just cannot get my head around how amazing this thing sounds. And you will be hearing it in a video soon. We're going to use it as an excuse to do a video on 15-inch speakers, but it sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, it really does. Look at that. How lovely. So good. Yeah, look at that. Ah, look at that thing. Yeah, I spent like 10 minutes with it at the end, and then I'm getting many existential crises at the moment. Crisis. Dan Crisis.
Yeah, just bonkers. Just bonkers. Considering it's 69 years old.
I can't believe that. And it's all original. Speakers original.
It's been
recapped
it's obviously
and stuff,
had some work done, but there's no transformer hum.
No.
There's no noise. It doesn't crackle and pop.
It's lovely.
If you told me it had been made 3 weeks ago, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Apart from the Tolex, but the Tweed. Anyway, Shay, it was really great to meet you. Thanks so much for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. We had a great day.
That was wonderful.
Elliot also came to a TPS Experience Day.
Yeah.
Elliot Green, good evening. How does EQ affect harmony? Can you highlight the minor nature of a song by boosting frequencies around the minor third of the key I'm playing in? Or a seventh to add dissonance? Can I apply this to pedal choice? What an interesting question.
Okay. So, if you look on the what's it called? The harmonic series. Okay. It's not... The harmonics is not about frequency. As in, if I take my note E, and then I divide it in half, I get an octave, and then divide it in half again, I get another octave, and then I look at the other intervals, and I get things like a fifth, and then I get major third. But basically, when I play this note, I'm not just getting that frequency. I'm getting harmonic overtones of all those things. And I guess you would have to... I'm just trying to think where the minor third is in relation to the harmonic series. It's quite a way up. And so you'd have to really boost some upper frequencies. I don't think it'd make a material difference. You'd have to play a really low bass note and then and sit on that for a bit. Yeah, I'm sure you could do it, but I'm not sure that it would make a material difference, because you'd have to be really boosting a specific frequency to get that minor third interval in there.
It's a really interesting question, isn't it? Because if you take a tube screamer, for example, and you put it on, and you've got a bit of overdrive and I say tube screamer because it does boost a particular bunch of frequencies that turn into harmonic feedback quite quickly on electric guitar. Go up the neck. This note here won't feed back at all, but this one here will harmonically feed back considerably.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something with EQ and pitch. Otherwise that wouldn't work. Otherwise each note would feed back specifically.
Yeah, but it's got to be. It has to work with the resonant frequency that's going on at that moment. So I think that the creating feedback is a lot less sensitive than like a specific. If you were to say, if I was to boost a certain frequency, can I emphasize the perfect fifth of the note? Yes, because that is that's the third one of the harmonic series. But the further you go, if someone could remind me what the minor third is in the harmonic series, basically, there's less of that. The further you go down the harmonic series, there's less of that than the fundamental.
You know
what I mean? But there's lots of fifth in there.
Yeah, I get that. But if where's A440 here?
A440's there. That's it.
Okay, so if you're playing a F minor 7.
Yep.
Oh, hang on. An F major 7. We were talking about minors, weren't we? So we'd need that. We'd need that to be a minor. So we'd be looking at an F sharp minor.
Yeah.
Even though this guitar's an E flat. Sorry about that. Regardless of whether it's the major third in that chord or not, if you push 440 hertz, is that going to make that note come out more? I think is what he's saying.
Okay. If you're playing this, if you're playing that chord and you push that frequency, it will. But you've already got that note in there, and that note has its own fundamentals and everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like saying here's my chord, right? Is and there's the minor third. If I would have to push A440 from that F. You know what I mean? Because that, even though that is A440, that note, it will push that note. But if I go from there down to there, then suddenly I'm playing the major third in E.
We should try it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of interested.
Okay.
I'm interested. Thanks for the question, Elliot. Hopefully people are answering in the chat. Rax FX is moaning about the audio level. Sorry, Rax, we don't have an output level meter. We have no way of metering it. So if you've got to turn it up a bit, so be it. If you want to give us any information on how to monitor our output levels to take into account streaming to YouTube, I'm all ears. But no, I don't understand how to do that. So just turn it up a bit. Hi chaps, says Rob Brewer. No particular question, but will you join me in raising a cup or a glass of tone or a Telecaster to the memory of Wilco Johnson?
Oh, yes, of course.
Dan unfortunately does not have a beverage.
No,
we will. We'll drink to Wilco. I met Wilco a few times.
Best I can do is raise a vintage telly.
Yeah.
In honour of the great man.
Cheers, Wilco. He, as I'm sure many of you will know, he had a miraculous second chance.
Yeah.
After a major illness and operation a few years back now. And I can remember him telling the story about it. And yeah. Well, bless you, Wilco. And yeah. Folks, says Bobbler42, I went with Monty's Retro Wind Jazz Masters, and the sauerkraut is going nicely. Bill Lawrence 5-way and subbing the treble bleed for rhythm circuit, also very possible. Thanks for your help.
Fantastic.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that worked, Bobbler. Interesting. Yeah. So you don't say specifically, but I'm getting from that it's an improvement.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get enough treble out of his
Jazz
Master, if you remember.
Yeah, great.
Brian Carpenter. Hello, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
I've got an American Pro Telly 2, American Pro 2 Telly that has started to sound spiky to my ears. I've never played anything with P90s. Would that be something to look at?
Has it just started to sound spiky, or you're only just recognizing the spikiness now? What's it called? American Pro Telly 2.
American Pro 2 Telly. Yeah. Without wishing to state the bleeding obvious, Brian, if you just turn the tone pot down on the telly, that can really, really smooth it out, especially the bridge pickup. But yeah, P90s are really interesting. Obviously, a completely different, a significantly different frequency response in general to a telly type pickup. But they can also be very, very trebly and very, very spiky. So I guess it all depends on your amp. I'd like to know what you mean by spiky as well. Do you mean, 8 to 12K high treble, or do you mean 2 to 4K bitey middle?
Yeah.
Would be quite interesting if you have access to a graphic equalizer pedal, or indeed a plugin where you could do it, and just see which part of that frequency spectrum the word spiky means to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
and that might help you decide what you want in a different type of guitar.
It's tricky, isn't it, when you start to recognize you've been playing guitar for a while and suddenly you recognize something in it that doesn't sit quite right for you. And once you've heard it, you can never unhear it. There's a number of things that you could do to unspiky a Telecaster. Saddle composition is a big one. String gauge, like Matt from Monty said, the best thing you can do to fix the tone of any guitar is get it set up properly.
Yeah.
It might be that there's an issue with the setup. It might be that the pickups are too close to the strings. There could be a number of reasons, but if you haven't had the guitar set up properly, because they're, I'm just looking at them now, they're great guitars. Certainly, if it's not been set up properly, certainly worth seeing if it's been set up properly before you try different pickups and things.
And again, pickups, P90s can vary greatly depending on what P90s they are,
Absolutely.
what guitar it's in. Like the ones that I put in the casino, Lola's standard dog ear P90s. That guitar is alive.
Yeah.
It's trebly and it's bright and it's wonderful, which could be a frying pan and fire situation. Whereas the ones that came out of it sounded like a blanket over the speaker, which you might like. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Hard to say. RaxFX, thank you for your suggestion. He says, I'm not moaning, just observations. I'd recommend the affordable TC Electronic Clarity M connected to an interface's SP diff port. Okay, so that will tell us what our... Yeah, I am interested in learning about that. Obviously, when we record and edit, we can fix levels and stuff when you edit the audio. But broadcast is a whole different game, and I fundamentally don't understand it, especially when you add YouTube. See, look at our levels now, way down.
Right.
Yeah, I fundamentally
Which
don't
one
understand it.
Okay.
So
You turn it back up a bit.
tiny bit,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
but it's so sensitive. Jeff McCurlane wants to know. Hello, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
He wants to know Univibe into Fuzz or Fuzz into Univibe?
Yes.
Always Fuzz first, because then it's off your guitar, then Univibe. But then where people get really confused, so that's how Jimmy did it most of the time, although you'll see pictures of them the other way around. What's then confusing is you do need to have some overdrive after the Univibe, and that's Robin Trower, right? So Robin Trower is Univibe and then overdrive. Because when Jimmy did it, you got Fuzz, Univibe, cranked Marshall, so that's overdriving. So if your amp's clean, you kind of want an overdrive pedal after the Fuzz,
Yeah.
after the Univibe, because what happens is if you just put the fuzz into the Univibe, you get into almost Ernie Isley phaser territory, where the extension of that high end is massive, and it can sound really. And it's the same story for phasers, normal phasers. It can sound really fizzy, and which is great if you're after Ernie Isley kind of sound. But if you're not, if you're after a sort of rounder, Trowery, Hendrixy sound, you want some overdrive after it. So
yeah.
Either into an overdriven amp or a nice overdrive pedal after the.
Yeah, you could even use a compressor there, but you want something that's going to limit that signal. But the overdrive is a really great shout, and we've done it on shows before, and it just a nice sounding overdrive post that lot is glorious.
Maybe even the Robin Trower overdrive if you can find one.
Right.
Yeah, nice one, Jeff. Thanks for being here, man.
Cheers, buddy.
Nice to hear from you. Mick's new TS1 is clearly inspiring. Is it time to revisit the Money No Object TPS wet dry rig? Says KB. Is the 2-Rock Classic Reverb signature now best complemented by the TS1 or Dan's Matchless?
Oh, mate.
For me, the TS1.
Yeah, so
for
Mick,
Dan, maybe the Matchless.
Mick had the those 2 amps going, and the TS1 was also going into a 2-Rock extension cab, and it was 4-Rock. I think it was just the most extraordinary guitar sound.
It's mad. Just for idiotic silliness, I took it to a pub gig on Saturday night, 2 Rocks and my insane board, which is, it would have been fine, and I would have been fine with a deluxe reverb and a tube screamer. I'd have been happy, but it's a good opportunity. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy.
But
what I love about it is when you, however mad that is, it's an opportunity in a sort of no pressure environment to test things out and listen to things. I really wanted to hear the Latent Lemon audio Hertz in a band, because it sounded fantastic in this room and I loved it. And
how was it?
It was great.
Oh man,
just the distortion control and the output, I could get it absolutely perfect, enough distortion and enough volume, because quite often, certainly with distortier distortions, fuzzier fuzzes, you can get all the fuzz and then you just can't either get it loud enough or it's too indistinct or whatever. But oh man, just no clipping, no any kind of clipping, it sort of disappeared into my amps. But it might be different into a different kind of amp. Anyway, so that was great fun. And given that the set list was discussed about 15 minutes before the first song was played, being able to hear every single note with crystal clarity in the whole venue was not necessarily the best place to be. But
I love that though.
Man, it sounded great. It's easily the best guitar sound I've ever had.
But I think I'd be really interested to see if Matches make a vertical 2x12.
Okay. I don't think they do, but...
Yeah. Because the only problem I've got with that as a vertical cab is it's just a tiny bit too narrow for the head. It doesn't look right.
Right. Why do you want a vertical one?
Oh, because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Because so what I'm thinking of doing is running the J cleaner, because I've got the powered extension cab.
Yeah.
So actually having both the amps a little bit, like whenever we did the experience days and we show everyone our current rigs, and I get jealous of the clarity of Mick's rig. And even though I love my rig, it's not as flexible, and I don't know. So I'm thinking of running things a little bit cleaner. But also what I could then do is with a smaller rig, have, if I'm just running a smaller rig, have the J20 by itself and then match this into the Burt cab, or for a larger rig, the Tower of J and the matches 2x12 on the side.
Yeah. I don't think I can. The thought of going back to one amp now is it's hurtful.
I couldn't do it.
Well, you could.
No, I don't want to.
And you'd have fun, but it's just bonkers, isn't it? 2 amps.
It is.
We must get some Pro Juniors, because I keep saying 2 Pro Juniors would totally do it. And we must prove that point. Rax FX, thank you very much for the information on the Clarity M. I'm going to check that out. Thank you for that. Excellent. A nice question from, I should be doing super chats, but I'm in the normal chat. C. Schneid. Is there a palette cleanser for your ears when dialing in settings? That's
Silence.
a great question.
Silence. Go outside, have a glass of water. It's the reason a lot of producers, they'll work for a couple of hours and then they've got to stop. And they need to give their ears a rest. It does, your ears do start to shut down.
Yeah,
is the thing.
They totally do. They also become attuned to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I find this definitely if I'm mixing music, or I'll just get so far down the road with it and then decide that it's sounding great, and then I'll put on a commercial release and go, oh, okay, I need to stop.
Yeah. Well,
same theory.
I did a test years ago because I found myself at gigs. Playing, everything was great, sound check, and then through the gig I'm always inching the amp up louder and louder and louder because it just kept getting quieter. And I thought, this can't be right, because I go back to the sound check the next day and put the amp back where it started, wasn't as perfect. So I recorded the gig, and then I said, I'm not going to touch the amp. I want to actually hear if it gets quieter and quieter. And on stage I'm playing it and I'm hearing it get quieter. And then I said, no, I'm not going to touch it. And then I listened back to the audio. Amp was perfect.
Yeah, right.
The whole night. Just my ears started to go, okay, I'm going to start compressing more and shutting down a bit. And yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so time away, as Dan says, absolutely right.
Yeah.
And maybe just a check. Listen to a couple of your favourite records low.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Whatever, or a couple of songs. KB, by the way, thank you for your generosity. That is preposterously generous of you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, mate. That's very kind.
Shawnee is Cubs fan 1. Shawnee is Cubs fan 1. Hey guys, what do you think about guitarists that use their fingers like Jared James Nicholas and Richie Kotzen? I'm impressed by both of them.
It's amazing. Some of the best tone from my favourite guitar players is guys who use their fingers. Yeah, Derek Trucks. Listen to the tone that guy gets. It's all fingers. Yeah, it's wonderful. I wish I could do it. I can't. I can't bring the rock.
No, can't bring the rock. I'll quite often play passages or maybe one round of a solo or something with no pick.
Yeah.
Just because of that difference. But
Yeah.
like you say, trying to hammer out rhythm parts or other stuff. I mean, I guess unless you have a very specific kind of style and that's your thing, you probably want to get across most of these things, don't you? And have a bit of each in your trick bag.
Yeah, the way Chris Buck does it,
yeah,
is the dream, because he has the pick here, and then he hides it in his first finger.
Yeah,
and he picks these three, doing his thing, and then he switched back to the pick.
Yeah,
and it's really great.
Yeah, but yeah, Kotzen switched, didn't he, from using a pick to using his fingers, and what an immense sound that guy gets.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, nice. Thank you for
42 says Mark Knopfler. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, he's great.
Marky boy, Segovia. I wonder if there's any videos of Segovia playing a Strat into a Marshall.
That'd be great.
Harrison. Hello, Harrison. Harrison came to the Experience Day as well.
Yes.
And we may be making a video with Harrison in the future.
Play some beautiful guitar.
Great show. I can't see my Halo the same way now. Dan managed to turn the Andy Timmons Halo Dual Echo into Shalom for a tenuous gag in our 3-course meal pedalboard challenge on Friday.
Yep.
Actually,
and now Robert Kidd not speaking to me.
I have to say I was not happy with my sound in the room at all, but recorded it was nice and bright.
The recorder's lovely.
I couldn't play it. It was not to my liking, but it recorded. It sounded pretty good, I thought.
Yes. Matteo Mancuso. Yes, thank you. Dank Asian Snacks. Okay. Yes, Matteo Mancuso. If you guys haven't seen him play, far out. Have you seen him do his thing? He's terrifying.
There's a couple of people that popped up on my Instagram feed just recently who I hadn't heard of before. I wish I could remember their names. There's a younger guy who plays an SG who is flipping unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, there's loads of people on YouTube Instagram who are extremely talented and, you know, blues fetus and all that stuff. I can't remember where that came from, but anyway, I think we might
It's from Guitarist, isn't it?
written it in Guitarist
Yeah.
once. Somebody said it in an interview. You know, and the 13-year-old who can play Wonderful Slippery Thing backwards, standing on one arm. You know, there's all that. But for me, some of that stuff lacks serious musicality because it's kind of circus act, really, in a way. This dude, and I wish I could remember his name, playing the SG, absolutely mercurial playing on a technical level, but also unbelievable musicality. And when they marry up like that, it's really rare, I think.
Yes, Bobler. Wes Montgomery did everything with his thumb.
Yeah. What if you had it insured? You're like, all right, where's how you doing today? And he's like, oh, no.
No.
See, he wouldn't have been wrestling crocodiles, would he?
Yeah. Fonzie goes, hey, he goes, yeah, right, sunshine.
Yeah. I got to keep this protected. Hi guys, says Sam Foyer. Hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
I'm trying to get a clean amp and guitar sound while using an RC booster with a Blues Junior. It's proving to be difficult. What are your thoughts on the process?
So you're trying to get a clean sound with the RC booster.
Yeah.
You should be able to get a clean sound if you roll the volume back off your guitar a little bit. That should work. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know how you've got that. I don't know how you've got the amp set. Just, you know, make sure that the amp is set up with enough headroom, and then make sure that you're not slamming into the front of it too hard, because otherwise it's going to be near impossible.
Yeah, the Blues Junior will overdrive quite quickly. You'll know. Sorry if this is too simplistic, but let's start there because then we won't miss anything. You've got the gain knob, and I can't remember if it's called gain or volume on the Blues Junior. Anyway, the one that's nearest the input. And then you've got the master volume, right? In order to get the most headroom, you want that master volume up as high as you can get it without the power section overdriving. So on a Blues Junior, you could probably turn it up to like 2 o'clock or thereabouts. And it's all dependent where you have that front end set. So if you have the master up as high as you can get it and then bring the preamp up, it might actually be called preamp, I can't remember. Anyway, the first volume control. So the master volume as high as you can get it, and the one next to the input, bring it up to the desired volume. That'll be your best shot at a clean sound because that will be the least amount of gain going into those first two gain stages. In addition, on the Blues Junior, you've got the fat switch. You want that out. You want that off.
Right.
Because that adds more gain.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think there's a presence control on the Blues Junior. If there is, don't have that too high because that will put more gain through the whole thing as well. And then on the RC booster, same story really. Don't run the gain too high because it will overdrive the RC booster. But equally, if you run the volume very high, you'll hit the front of the Blues Junior and it will overdrive. But as Dan says, you can mitigate that by rolling the volume of the guitar off. And what's quite nice about that, because you've got the boost in line, it should stay nice and bright.
Yeah.
Secondly, be ginger with your pick attack. Because if you hit the guitar hard, it's going to put more signal through and it's going to overdrive. If you pick carefully, I would have thought, set that way with the RC booster, being careful about how you pick and having the guitar rolled off one, you should be able to get a nice clean sound.
Yeah. So
and then soak it in reverb.
It's important to remember that the most important gain stage is this. And, you know, I remember I had a client years ago, and it's like, yeah, I'm finding it really difficult to get a clean sound. I'm like, show me. He goes, okay.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. You know, and if you hit the guitar really hard, you're generating more voltage, and it's going to be harder to get that clean.
Yeah.
You know, it might be that a compressor will work better.
Yeah.
You know, but give those things a try.
Yes.
Yes. Best of luck, mate.
Indeed. And if you're running the first volume very high, and you've got the fat switch on, it's going to be
really tricky, borderline
impossible to get a clean sound. So good luck. Steve Mass. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Thanks for your email, Steve. He says, one of those oddball but fun questions. Would you rather play a telly with full humbuckers or a Les Paul with telly pickups?
I go Les Paul telly pickups.
The closest I've got to playing a Les Paul with single coils is they did like a melody maker type thing with normal, almost Strat looking single coils. Not quite the same thing because it was a slab body and all of that. And that was actually pretty cool, as I remember.
I think Paul's got one of those. Paul Stacey.
Has he?
Isn't that the guitar that he used? There's a like a vintage. If that's the one they did ages ago, because he did a melody maker, like a modded melody maker. That was the one that he did on the Tonight Show.
Oh, when he did the Burning Down, or whatever.
Burning Down,
called.
yeah, Burning Hell.
House, burning
House.
Hell, Burning House.
With Tom Jones. And it's the most astonishing sounding guitar.
Yeah.
The thing for me is the Telecaster pickups, and you've always got to work a little bit harder on the neck, but there's something about the dynamic range of that bridge pickup,
Yeah.
which I can't get away from.
Yeah.
It's just remarkable.
Yeah, you don't get it off a humbucker. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to take a Les Paul standard with the look, but I can take a telly with humbuckers, so I'm going telly with humbuckers.
Nice.
I'd have to do the whole gig with my eyes shut if the Les Paul had singles in it. That'd be like, nah.
Nice.
Thanks for the question, Steve. Okay. Rystard Ohadoha, and I apologise if I've said that wrong. Hail, Kings of Toe Jam. Going back to the Marshall episode a couple of weeks ago, was the channel jumping a designed feature or a happy accidental discovery? Thanks for all you do. From Rick.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think they designed it to be used in that way.
No. Because if you go back to the old Bassemans and that, they used to be labelled an instrument and a mic. There was this idea that you'd plug your microphone into one channel and your guitar into one channel, and then that would be your PA. Yeah, I think it is a happy accident that you can do that, and it's a very happy accident because it sounds great.
Yeah, we have filmed a follow-up video to that Marshall video with the 5 things that came up most frequently in the comments. So one was use a Y cable, one was we want to hear the high treble channel only cranked, one can we hear the JTM 45 and the 87X wet dry. So we did all of that. That will come out in a week or 2 or 3 or 2. Yeah.
Lovely.
Rhino Jam. Hey boys, love that the challenges are back.
Oh yeah.
They're good fun.
That
They're
was
really good fun to do.
That was really fun.
Says Rhino Jam. Maybe a musical genre themed one. Dan's funk board would be great.
We need a scoreboard. I'm thinking it's even Stevens at the moment.
It's all about the numbers, isn't it, Dan?
It is. It's all about the numbers. Yeah, a funk board.
What I think what would end up happening is if we did musical genres, every week my board would be the same. Because I always have a bit of a problem with that.
Right.
Like this is suited to that genre and that is suited to that genre and that is suited to that genre. Which sort of means we should do it, really, doesn't it? Plus, we're hopeless at playing genre that are outside of our wheelhouses, so that would in itself be funny.
Hilarious.
Well, I say I am. Dan maybe covers a bit more ground, but...
No, simply spread more thin.
Multi-talentless.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Anyway, Rhino Jam's looking for Les Paul tuner upgrades. I've got a Les Paul Classic, but I find the tuners slip. I think I'm right in saying on the Classic you got the tulip buttons, haven't you?
Can you just get a bit of wet dry and just rub the caps down a bit and take some of the shine off?
Well, first off, make sure that the strings are wound on thoroughly and tightly with each successive wind going underneath the last. That's the first thing to say.
Yes.
I've never. I can't remember I had the last. In fact, the only time I've ever had a string slip. This is the truth. Is on a Cluson locking not Cluson Wilkinson locking Schaller locking tuner. No, not Schaller. What was the company that who was the famous company that did the locking tuners for Strats?
Dixon's.
No, it wasn't Schaller. It wasn't Goto. It
Applebee's.
was. Come on. They were the locking tuners to have, and everyone had them.
Morrison's.
No.
Dave's Tuning Emporium.
Come on. Someone can tell me. Come on, somebody
Goto.
please tell me. No, not Goto.
Spurzle. There you go. Thank you, Sepp.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you. That's the only time
Lee Tintle comes in just after him.
It's the only time I've ever had a string slip was when I was using some Spurzle locking tuners. They just normal tuners. They don't slip for me. That said, I don't do lots of excessive bending. I do a bit of bending, as you know, but not. I don't do like two-tone bends. So yes, if it's the gears on the tuners themselves slipping, then look out for some high-quality replacements. The Goto ones are pretty good. I don't know. There are Cluson branded ones now. I think the dude from Duesenberg owns the Cluson brand.
Oh wow!
I think it was a common mod. Like Jimmy Page, for example, changed the tuners from the tulip head ones to the other brand that I can't remember. The ones that are on your Les Paul.
Oh, yeah, right. The big chunky ones.
Yeah, and I really don't like those. I think they make the guitar sound worse. But
that's interesting. Well, there's a show.
Jimmy Page liked them, and so do many other people. So that could be an option. They make them heavy as well. Makes the headstock heavy.
Yeah, right.
Which Paul Smith's got a lot to say on that. He thinks the tuning peg needs to be as light as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you add mass to the end of the headstock, it does things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Evie said that you've got the missing super chat on your phone.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So yeah, I would just look for good quality. If it is actually the gear of the tuner slipping and not the string slipping around the capstan, then look for some Gotos or Wilkinsons or something that's the high quality replacement. And that might help you. But do just double check that you're winding those strings on fully, and there's a good number of winds and they're on tight, and each successive wind goes underneath the last. That should push all of them up and just lock it off nicely at the top. Yeah.
There are ways that you can wrap the string and pull it through and lock it off, and so that it's sort of semi-locking. But you know, as long as you've got enough winds on it,
yeah,
it should be okay.
I think Gibson actually recommend you do the tie, don't they?
Oh, do they?
I've never been a fan.
Right.
I know people who do it.
Yeah.
Moon says, please don't start a tone tuner debate, Mick. Yeah. We had tone wood, now we've got tone tuner. Sorry, yeah, the only thing that makes any difference in the guitar is the pickups. We do know that. Grover's is exactly where I was going with that, Jonathan.
Grover's, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, Hip Shot, says Mike, are a good replacement. Yeah.
I've often thought about getting one of those Hip Shot drop Ds for the low E string in red. You're not.
No, we're just going to move on from that. Thomas Barron and Justin Cowley, Spurzle. David Burke says, Mick, frantically thinking about what hardware manufacturer it's okay to insult. Oh, I don't mind, David. I'm long past all of that. I think there's 58 million Spurzle tuners sold, and lots of very happy customers. Yes. Jack Duxbury.
Oh, my goodness. G'day, mate.
Hello, mate.
We were talking about you today, actually, Jack.
Were.
We've got some gigs coming up next year. We need to have a chat. We need to have a boys get-together.
He says, sending some love and a ton of thanks for all your efforts and expertise that you share with us week in, week out. Screw net shits and scammers and crime, he says. This is my monthly subscription of choice. Thanks, Jack.
Oh, mate.
Hope you're well, buddy.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think Jack's been doing some pretty serious stuff just recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Didn't you just do something with a certain ginger-haired megastar?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. We love you, Jack.
We do.
We were talking about the TPS band today. Jack Duxbury, you might see him on the Andersons channel. He's also a wonderful musician and lots of other things, producer and all kinds of things. Anyway, he also plays keyboards in that pedal show band when he's got time and when we've got gigs. So it's a great privilege to work with Jack. We miss you, mate. Hope you're doing
We
all right.
really miss you, buddy.
Eric Zenhausen. Hello, Eric. Cheers, stocking stuffers. Almost have my acoustic electric board figured. Gain effects in a bypass looper. That makes sense. Out to the acoustic effects, used for both. Out to an A-B box. A goes to a preamp. B goes to a guitar amp. Yay or nay? 100 yay.
100 yay.
That sounds...
110.
Having the gain on a true bypass looper makes absolute perfect sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great.
Good on you.
Well done, mate.
Be interested to, once you get using it, Eric, be interested to hear how you get on with it. But that sounds mighty sensible. Mojo says, I just received the books you suggested.
Sorry, David Bocher says, Jack's been working with Jerry Halliwell. Very good.
That's Prince Harry. I just received the books you suggested. I get to help with stage fright. I'll let you know how it works. Thanks for your
brilliant.
time. Mojo, cool. I mean, those books are pretty heavy, so
Take your time.
go steady.
Yeah.
But if it helps you in some way, then that's fantastic.
My when I did I first started listening to, because I got them on tape, and The Power of Now, that was the game changer for me. But having it on tape so that I could listen to it when I was driving,
Yeah.
and there were moments that I would listen to it actively, and moments when I wasn't listening to it actively.
Yeah,
but that
yeah.
was really good.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through it like 3 or 4 times now, and there's some things that it's like, oh, that's really interesting, and sometimes I'm like, I haven't listened to that for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. The audiobooks are great because you'll never take it all in on the first read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, God knows how many times I've done that one now.
It's really good.
Good. Yeah. 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 Ran's there. Fantastic challenge show, says Ran. Then again, they always are. I love the creativity, the collegiate competitiveness, and differing approaches. May there be many more.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Ran.
Yeah, they're always really fun.
They're good fun, aren't they?
They are.
Because they're the unknown and or the partially known. Tim Good. Hello, Tim, with an E. That's very interesting. I think my physics teacher was... I know he was... Was he called Tim Good? Mr. Good? Anyway. Was your dad, or is your dad, or are you a physics teacher? Or your granddad, maybe now. It was a long time ago.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. Johnny B, I think his name was. Hey, Legends. So this last weekend at a gig, I was forced to use a 15-watt trainer instead of my usual 40-watt one. I was blown away how good a small amp can sound. And feel. I'm trading in for it now.
Oh, fantastic.
Funnily enough, it was James, wasn't it? I think here on Friday at the Experience Day.
Mm-hmm.
James came. He was a last-minute addition because somebody had to pull out at the last minute. James plays in an Oasis tribute band. And his sound, you know, is his Les Paul into his Friedman. Squashing, compressing,
Yeah.
overdriving.
Yeah.
And he finds that headroomy approach that me and Dan like very difficult to play. Whereas I can't make any sense of that squashy,
Yeah, sure.
overdrivey thing. And there's clearly neither is better or worse. It's just what suits you as a player. And maybe what you've stumbled on there is that you're happier in that world where the amp's giving in and you can go at it with a guitar and the texture and the dynamics come off the guitar instead of having to deal with that spiky headroom and dynamic range that you get with more power. And if that inspires you and that's making you play,
Yeah.
happy days, embrace it.
Yeah. Because all that stuff is always about context, and only you and, you know, the style you're playing, the music you're playing with, and your approach to everything, the only person who understands that context is you. Yeah. But that's great.
Yeah. Cool. Sorry, just making sure I haven't missed anything.
Did you get the text from...
Yes, that's what I was trying to remember. Brain. Okay, Francis Hogan. We missed you earlier, Francis. Apologies for that. He says, hello, I've got a new amp day, Orange Tiny Terror combo. I will be rewatching the Tiny Terror episode to get some tips. You're great players, great guys, and have great content. Thank you.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Nice one. Nice one, Francis.
I was a couple of Tuesdays ago, the Tiny Terror at... we have a rehearsal over at work in Swindon, and the Tiny Terror gets pulled out as the bass amp. And they're great.
Really?
So, yeah.
Wasn't
I mean, it's quiet.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
For bass, yeah, because you need loads of power for bass. And
Yeah.
Not that much overdrive, but cool. Hope you enjoy it. Be interested to hear how you get on with speakers. Because it's a very different experience if you have something like a Celestion Vintage 30, which is a high efficiency speaker, very pronounced in the upper mid range. That can be a lovely, loud, present experience. Whereas into a less efficient speaker, you know, something very different. So it's a cool thing, the Tiny Terror. I remember when it first came out, it sort of birthed the Lunchbox.
Yes. Yeah, it's very cool.
Amp thing, didn't it? Orange, I always feel, will have a very specific overdrive sound as well.
Right.
It's
is it the same?
It's its own thing.
Right. But is it consistent through their solid state and their valve amps?
Well, Tiny Terror's all valve.
Yeah. But like I know a lot of stuff, the Orange Crush, there's a lot of stuff they do that's transistor
I think
based.
a bit like Marshall, you know, unless you're talking something out of the way like Mode 4 or
Yeah.
But your classic Marshall amps through the years, they always have a familial resemblance, and I think that is in the Orange world as well. So enjoy.
Yes.
Amoeba Teen. Hi gents, I've missed the Geordie visitors recently. I do love it when they pop up. It's a shame Mick always seems to miss them though. Yeah, I know. I'm getting my fill of Geordies at the moment with Ant and Dec on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yeah. My wife says, "Oh, just come and watch it for a bit." And I'm like, I couldn't think of anything worse. Like, no, I'll sit down, because sit down and we'll just watch it. And I watched it for the first 10 minutes, and I was absolutely hooked and watched every single episode, and it was flippin' brilliant. Yeah, and Jill was the worthy winner.
Wasn't she great?
She was just brilliant.
Yeah.
And
I find it interesting when people get sniffy about reality TV like that. Because all right, it's TV and there's a certain amount of editing and staging and all of that, but you get to see these people in a different context.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know anyone that was in it.
No.
Apart from Matt Hancock. And that was so interesting. A part of the reason that I said, okay, I sit down and watch it was because of Matt Hancock.
Yeah.
And, whether you love him or hate him, it was a masterstroke by those guys to get him on the show.
A bit of genius.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a new way to do politics, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
Boy George was just, what a fascinating individual.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very interesting approach to Buddhism, I thought. Anyway, let's move on before we get sued. Or indeed upset everyone. Thomas Adams. Hello, Thomas. Amoeba Teen. Hopefully there'll be some Geordie visitors along before too much longer.
Yeah.
Daniel, says Thomas Adams. If you were here, I'd ask if you'd be first guitar in 1111 at New Rock, a concept album. 1111 at The Awakening, a companion film, so the kids will want to listen to it all in one sitting and grow from it.
Mate, that's very kind. I'm 3 years in working on a 4-track EP. Yeah, it's an interesting question though, finding the right players to play on your project. Yeah, but that's very kind. Thank you, mate. That's kind. Yeah, fucking. If only I had the time to do my own thing. Yeah. But best of luck with that. Best of luck with that, mate. It's yeah. I guess that's one of the things about technology, right? That if you know, the way session players and that work now, they can be anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They get sent stuff and they can just... I've done it for mates in Australia. But, and that's great. Do you... I mean, maybe it's just where we're at. Because doing the band thing, certainly when I was younger, and it was all new and super exciting, and there were loads of venues, and you know, playing loud was a necessity. I'm like Liv's, my daughter's doing her band thing at the moment, and it's like, yeah, it's tricky.
It's not the same.
It's not the same, and I don't mind that. There are periods of...
There's got to be an opportunity in there somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
If it's not the same, what's better now, and how do you exploit that?
Yeah.
How do you play to the opportunities you have now?
The other thing is, you think of what's going on globally, and surely there's meaningful artistic creation
to come from that.
Yeah.
I would hope one would hope so. Silver linings and all that. Yeah, I don't know if it's the same. We were talking a pub gig on Saturday night. We were talking about it, reminiscing. I think the bass player's in his 50s, the drummer's in his 50s, keyboard player's in her 30s. She's a composer and a teacher,
right?
So she works in music. That's her thing. The rest of us do it for a laugh. And because the bass player, we knew each other from, well, all the way from the late 80s in Weymouth, in Dorset. And at that point, every pub pretty much had a live band playing at 111 dB.
Yeah.
Before the smoking ban, and it's easy to have the rose tints about all of that and go, well, it doesn't exist anymore. I kind of hope that it does exist in parts.
It does. Go for Saturday night, go for a walk down Cheltenham High Road. I walked past 3 venues down there, absolutely blaring.
And I think what I'm saying is, maybe we're just a bit past it, and the kids are having great fun.
Oh, they're having having an absolute whale of a time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's an interesting time to be putting bands together. But hey, it's always going to be awesome. It's always going to be the most fun thing you can do.
I mean, even just old mates, no real, no rehearsal, set list agreed 15 minutes before the gig. It was shambolic musically, but it was such a laugh.
There you go.
It was such a laugh.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Hi guys, says What Clucky. What Clucky says, hi guys, have you heard of John Morland? He's a fantastic all-round musician, and I've noticed he's been using a pedal board for his live sets now for the electronic parts in his music. Love the show.
I don't know John Morland.
No, we shall have to Googleize him.
Yes, Googleizing away.
Thank you for the recommendation. What Clucky? Jay Salmon. Hello, Jay. What are your favourite low-cost vintage Strat style pickups? Love you guys.
Leave that one to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really tried. There's a couple of makers in the UK. Where are you? You're in the US. There are a couple of makers in the US who are very competitively priced, and I always forget. Maybe Cream Tea pickups, or is it the Creamery, one or the other?
Creamery's here.
Yeah, I forget one of them is, and there's another one. Oh God, I can't remember. Sorry, I can't remember. The ones that come in Squier classic vibe guitars.
They're good?
always sound great.
Right.
But that might be because they're American pickups, I don't know.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's so hard to say, Jay, because, you know, what do you want? Someone else in the regular chat was asking about Texas Special pickups and why I don't like them compared to other, and it's just not as simple as that. It's about the guitar, it's about your amp, it's about your pedals, it's about what style you play, it's about your pick attack, it's about do you like to use the volume control, it's about how does it react with a fuzz pedal, and it might be that not everything about that pickup is exactly how you want it to be, but how it reacts to a fuzz pedal is the most important thing in your game.
Yeah.
So it, as always, you know, the pickup giveth and the pickup taketh away. And you just need
Very
to
good.
you just
That's
need
very
to
good.
decide what your priorities are. And I think that's why you end up with the gear you end up with, because it does most of the things you want, and the thing you really want, it does it the best. But that's not the same for everyone, so it's really, really hard to say.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard to say without knowing your musical style and all of that. So anyway, good luck, Jay.
Timothy Lurch has popped in. G'day, mate. Hope you're awesome. He says, here's a challenge idea. Create a 4-pedal flyboard into a Roland JC120. You both use the same board and have to cop 5 different sounds that you might use on a corporate gig.
I love that.
Isn't that great?
Can you screen grab that?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
It's brilliant.
Actually, Andersons have got a used Lab Series 100 watt,
Oh, no way.
100 watt 212 combo, which I sort of think about buying because it would be great to have it. But I think what might happen is we might plug it in once and go, wow, that's really cool. And it will sit in the corner for the rest of time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. But that's, isn't that his amp?
BB King used them for a while. I don't know if Mr. Benson did.
Right.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Okay. Non-Aligned says, "G'day, legends." Well, g'day, mate. G'day, right back at you, sunshine.
Gentleman says, G Barge. G. How are you?
Mighty G.
It's so good to be back from after Thanksgiving travels. Very thankful to you two and the TPS community. Keeping quiet here for a bit because some loud playing 2 weeks ago still has my ears ringing. Uh-oh. Yes. Yes, Dan and I are both in that boat slightly at the moment. Yeah, Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a really good Thanksgiving in the States. If you celebrate that. Yeah, it's a little bit hard for us to understand because we don't have it here. So it doesn't mean here what it means in the US. But we do understand that it's fairly giant in the US.
Yeah, it's a large event.
Yes, and one eats turkey and sees family and is thankful for things.
I know there's cranberry sauce involved. Yams.
You can be thankful for all of that, Dan.
And thankful for yams, apparently.
Yeah.
Is that sweet potato?
A yam?
Is yam a sweet potato?
Don't know.
Oh, Bever said Thai Tabor use them as well, Lab Series.
Oh, interesting. What's a yam? What's the difference between a sweet potato and a yam? A true yam is a starchy edible root of the Dioscorea genus, generally imported from America from Africa. Rough and scaly. So it's different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It would work in my rhyming restaurant, though. You could have jam, lamb, ham, spam, and yam.
Okay.
There you go.
Very good. Okay.
What would you like tonight? Oh, God, really?
I'm having spam, and spam.
That's it. We're out of super chat, so we can dive into the chat. We might finish a little bit early tonight. Dan's got to go home. We're not filming tomorrow, so Dan's got a long drive ahead. This Friday's video is going to be, I think, Boost's surprise.
Aha.
Dad decided he was going to figure some different ways to boost that would be surprising to me. And actually, it was really good.
Was it surprising?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was some really interesting stuff in there and different ways to do things, and a particularly good result at the end, I thought.
Yeah, it's really interesting, right?
Yeah. So that's what this Friday is. And tomorrow there's a pedal jams, a new pedal day with the Kernham Ridge and some other stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Kernham Ridge is on tomorrow.
Awesome.
Oh, and the Boss SL2 slicer, which is hilarious. Because clearly neither of us have got a clue, so we just sit there laughing at it while it's going. It's pretty good. I think there's a bit of a Sun revisiting.
Oh, right.
With the Como Rebeat Dreadbox reverb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's pedal jams tomorrow, boosts on Friday. Right then, what's going on in the world? What's going on in the chat, Daniel?
Oh yes, Eric Turley says happy 80th birthday yesterday to Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, bless him.
Yep.
Daniel Webb says, not been here for a while. Hope you're both well. We are.
Very, very well.
Yeah, hope you're well, Daniel. Zachary Allen, thanks again for Dan's recent cable episode. I made 18 Evidence Audio SIS patch cables this weekend without any failures. Super helpful. How are your fingers? My fingers always hurt when I do that for very much long.
Okay.
Because it's like a lot of that.
Yeah. Affects grammar as well.
Yeah.
I find too much cabling.
Yeah.
You do it very much long and away goes grammar.
You know, sub edit for 20 years. Who needs grammar? Who grammar needs? Angel Ravel. Oh dear. Yeah. Hi folks, looking for advice. How do you deal with the feeling of not being satisfied with the gear you've got and not enthusiastic about using it because it's not inspiring, says Angel Ravel, or maybe Angel Ravel. Yeah, I mean, what you've just described there is the cause of gas and the only reason the guitar industry exists. Because if it was about the gear you needed and that was required, no one would sell any gear and guitar companies would go bust. Because you'd buy a guitar, then that would be that.
Indeed.
So go on, Dan, if you were going to say something.
It's not that I'm going through this at the moment, but I always like to experiment and make sure that I'm getting the most out of what I'm using. So one thing I am doing at the moment, I'm slightly changing the way that I run my amps. So I used to have my J20 pretty much cranked and be breaking up, and that amp breaks up in a really spectacular way, and I love it. However, what I'm finding is the discrepancy between that amp and the matches is too much. So I'm going to start running things with more headroom. So what I do, and hopefully this might help, I strip everything back to basics. What I find is if I'm not happy with the way my amps are sounding, it doesn't matter what I put into them. It's all... If I'm trying to turn an amp tone that I don't like into something that I do like with pedals, it's not going to work. I've got to be really happy with the way that the amps sit and feel. And once I've got that done, then I'll work on the gain stages, overdrive, boosts, all that stuff. And that can take me days, and I won't move on from that until I've got that right. A conversation that I've had, and something that we may explore, because I think it's a really important conversation to have, is that I've done this in the past where I have tried to compensate for a sound that I'm not 100% happy with by adding delays and reverbs. And it's really easy to make a sound better with delays and reverbs, but the reality is if the gain stage isn't doing what you need it to do as far as connectivity is concerned, then what you're doing is you're covering a turd in glitter. the result will be so much greater if you are happy, A, with the amplifiers, and then B, with your gain stages. If you don't get that right first, everything else will get you a step. It may help, but you'll never be really satisfied because the gain stages aren't connected properly. And it's a sound that I hear often, and there's something. I've just on YouTube land and stuff. It's a sound that I hear where it's like I can tell that player is adding this stuff to try and
cover up
something.
Yeah. Well, that's a slippery slope, that, isn't it? Because that's what advocates of guitar into amp, just turn it up, man, would say about us. Why are you adding all that junk on the top when all you need is a guitar and an amp? So it's a slippery slope, that.
So I'll tell you what got me thinking about this. I was listening to some Jimmy Vaughan. And
I was listening to Jimmy Vaughan last week. How mad is that?
Awesome. So you'll recognise this, right? His guitar sound is here. It is right in front of your face, and it's like you are going to hear every single note that he plays, and it's a good job. He's amazing because it's like everything is right there. Now, the genius about that is that he's leading the band.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's following what he does, and everyone can hear every note that he plays. If you take that approach first, okay, I'm going to get that right. I'm going to get that sound, the amps and the gain stages before anything else, because it would be really easy if you think about the Jimmy Vaughan sound now, add some spring reverb to that, and it's just. I love Jimmy's sound. I love Jimmy's. No, don't get me wrong, but imagine you start off with Jimmy's sound and you go, okay, and add a bit of spring reverb. It just gets better. It's not like, okay, it's all right, but if I add a bit of reverb, it'll be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I get it. I think that's not the experience for most people, though, is it? Most people are like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Wow, check out this massive reverb.
Yeah.
And when I say most people, I include myself in that. Okay, so Tim Lurch has come in with a good suggestion for you, Angel or Angela. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. He says change your strings.
That's very good.
And it is an example of something that is, because what you're doing, right, is you've become identified and a bit obsessed with the fact your gear isn't very inspiring. And you've decided that's the problem. So therefore that must be the problem. Therefore that's what needs solving. I would almost guarantee that's not the problem. The problem is might be that you don't have anything to point it at. So Dan and I were talking about this over the weekend. If there are no goalposts, you don't know which direction to kick the ball in.
Yeah. That's such a good analogy.
So what are you doing? What is it that you want to do? What sound do you want to get? And moreover, what are you playing? And if you I've had a massive realization over the last couple of years, and it can be the example I always use is the rain. When it starts raining here in September and October, I used to get that, what I would think was sad, the seasonal affective disorder thing, and I'd get down and I'd be like, oh God, bloody weather, and the nights get short and it's always raining. So
get down on it.
Since I've had the dog wants to go out, like, regardless of whether it's raining or not. And I don't know who the quote is, whether it's Oscar Wilde or something. I don't know who the quote is, but there's no such thing as bad weather, only the wrong clothing. And I changed my relationship with the rain. The rain was the problem, and I'm like, the rain is not a problem because it's going to rain. I can't stop it from raining. Being annoyed with it raining is a complete waste of psychological time.
Yeah.
It's a complete waste of your life to be annoyed by the rain because it's going to rain and you can't stop it. So change your relationship with the rain. And now I love the rain because I bought a really, really expensive waterproof coat.
Down in Africa.
How they got Kilimanjaro into those lyrics, I don't know.
That was a bet.
Yeah.
Someone said, "Okay, I'll case of beer on me if you can get Kilimanjaro in that
and some,
song."
and some waterproof trousers and stuff. And I relish the rain now. I almost prefer it when it's raining and I go out with a dog, because it's me up the hill and it's raining. The long point is, if you can just change your relationship with your gear, don't be so identified with why you don't like it, and just find something to like in it, that it leads you in a different direction. It might redefine the problem.
Yeah.
Because after 40 years of playing the guitar and 25 years of doing it in some sort of semi-professional capacity, either as a journalist or a YouTuber or out playing, I've come to the conclusion that all those gear problems I thought I had weren't gear problems at all. They were pretty much always lack of inspiration for playing.
Yeah, right.
Now, all very well for me to say that, isn't it? I've got all this crazy stuff now. And it's taken all this crazy stuff to get to that realization. So, yeah, do what Tim says. Change your strings. Pick a song that you would never normally think about playing and learn it.
Yeah.
And see where you go. See where you go.
There must be something that you've always wanted to learn to play. A song that you've always wanted to learn to play. And I think something that I'm going to challenge myself with going into next year, because there's a few things in the back of my mind I've always wanted to be able to play.
What are they?
Okay. I started working on this years ago and I never finished, but I want to be able to play the piano solo to That's Just the Way It Is. I want to be able to play that on guitar. And it's going to take a whammy pedal or an octave up pedal, because there are certain passages that
That's Just the Way It Is. Some things will never change.
Yeah.
Who's that boy? It's just the way it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who it's
just the way it is.
Yeah.
Is it Mike and the Mechanics?
I'm not sure. You tell me.
It might have been a cover.
But
Bruce Hornsby in the
Bruce
Range.
Hornsby, there we go.
Sorry. Apologies to all Bruce Hornsby and the Range fans. With special dispensation for the Range, because I don't reckon they get mentioned as much as Bruce Hornsby.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that like...
Was he just stood on his cooker?
But that's what home is.
Yeah. Or dodging balls on a golf.
Home on the range.
Yeah.
The piano solo in that and the phrasing and everything, I love. I've always wanted to learn Cliffs of Dover.
Oh, nice.
And so there's a few things that are like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And just, work on it and take it really slowly.
Be great if you can learn Cliffs of Dover.
It'd be amazing.
Then you can show me. I've started about 5 times and I've gone, I'm doing this.
Okay. Yeah, there's that. I'm going to finish the EP. It's finished. I just can't get myself to the vocals because it's so boring.
It's finished. I just haven't done the vocals.
I haven't, so it's not finished. The guitars are finished.
Imagine if Tay-Tay said that. Yeah, it's finished. I just haven't done the singing yet. You haven't done the most important bit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those.
Jay Salmon asking about cost-effective Strat pickups. You may have read this in the comments already, but Marcus Reeves, hello Marcus.
Hey mate.
He says GFS pickups in the US are great value and really well made. GFS, and a couple of people have seconded that. So
don't they make sofas here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're always on sale.
GFS. Yes, Michael Thompson says, yeah, agreed. I have a set of P90s that are killer from them.
Great.
Nice. Bart Nettle. Hello, Bart. Bart says, where in the room is best to put my amp?
Okay.
It's a nice problem to have if it's a choice.
Yeah.
Because normally it goes where it kind of needs to go aesthetically and without angering other members of said household.
Yep. So, to get the most bottom end, you want it in a corner on the floor. The next level of bottom end is just on the floor near a wall, and then on a chair raised up is for the least amount of bottom end. It's amazing how different the amp will sound depending on where you put it.
Yeah, try those two things then. Put it in the middle of the room on a chair, and then in the corner of the room on the floor. See how much difference you notice.
Lost in Code says, your ex-girlfriend's house.
Why?
Just to be loud.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but it'd end up with a knife through the cone.
Be funny for a couple of minutes.
Or worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I think we may, dear friends, call it a day there so that Dan can get home.
Mr. Timothy Lurch, who I have had a lesson from, and I've filmed it and I'm still going over it. He says, Dan, you should learn no blues from Wes smoking at the half note. Done. I'm going to put that on the list. Thanks, Tim.
I'll tell you what I want to learn.
Hang on, I'll put some. I'll do some learning music for you. Okay. What would you like to learn?
I would like to learn. So what key are you in there? Oh, that's too loud. Let's try this one. And then what I want to be able to do now is learn a bebop lick.
Okay.
And learn some of that kind of bebop-y stuff.
And it's so hard. Yeah. But what you just did then, where the accents are, is everything. And it is, man, if you like, I come from a rock background, right? And because you said to me the other day, instead of going, I should try to.
Timothy, I'd be really interested in your approach on this, Tim Lurch. So Dan's natural rhythm, right, is to go ba da do ba do ba do ba do ba do. So 3, 4 do 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 do. So I've set down a challenge. Instead of going do da do da do da do da, is to go da do do da do do da do do da do do do. So your natural rhythm would be go. So do do.
So
yeah, there you go.
yeah,
Sorry if you couldn't hear that.
I'm not sorry if you couldn't hear that.
Yeah. Okay, we do have one more question from Patrick Glance. Oh, yeah, we understand this. Picked up an HDRX20, the Hendrix amp there. Paul Reed Smith behind Dan. You can't see because he's in the way. Sounds great, but when I push it, get way too much fizz up on the top end. I'm playing through a Hot Rod Deluxe 1x12 extension cab. Could it be the speaker? It's partly the speaker.
Partly the speaker.
It's also partly the nature of that plexi type circuit. So there's two things you can, well, there's a bunch of things you can do. Use more of the bass channel than the treble channel, because you can link them, right? Turn the bright switch off and turn the presence down.
Yeah.
And those three things will get rid of some of that. Some of it could well be the speaker. We had it running through an Alnico Cream today, the 100 watt
Sounded
Celestion Alnico
fantastic.
Cream, and that was a nice amount of, I call it, that's the technical term.
but it compressed at that frequency. It was like really, really lovely. That's because I used the matchless with that speaker when doing the 1x12 thing, and it sounds brilliant.
Yeah. So try that. The other way is to actually turn it up more and hit it with an overdrive, and then that spiky treble will round off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of rounding off, Dan, you see what I did there?
I do. Very nice. Very good.
Speaking of rounding off, it's time to go.
Indeed. Thank you all for watching.
Time to go. We would love to learn some dance moves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Until then, we'll see you Friday. Thanks for being with us today. Still time to get in on the None More Black Friday deal at thatpedalshowstore.com.
Yeah.
And other than that, we hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. And yeah, sending peace and love and positive vibes to everyone out there.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks, everyone.
Play us out, Dan. That was Donna Lee, by the way.
My fingers just won't move that fast anymore.